wasn't in the mix when he's saying that this individual, Marcus Garvey, is the forerunner of the Moorish movement. There's a big sellout going on. There's a big sellout going on against the Moorish movement, and it's from inside and it's from outside. More from inside than outside. Because people on the outside don't appreciate it, right? Because they're ignorant. Not because they're bad people. And then people are on the inside are the ones that we talk about in the must be proclaimed at every meeting letter. That the Prophet knew that there was only a few faithful Moors that were down with the program and down with what the Prophet laid down. And then there was everybody else who were of their own opinion and they're gonna do whatever they're doing because that's what they do. But you can't tell me about Marcus Garvey and not tell me about Noble Ali. And if you are doing that, then you're ignorant. Because you're not going to talk about forks without talking about knives. And then talk about spoons. And then talk about pots and pans, and because all that's relative.
That's like if a person was a Christian and they talk about Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, but they don't mention Yeshua or Jesus. Or,
right.
You know?
Right. It has to be mentioned.
Yeah.
Right. You had a question, Don Pedro?
Yeah, I wanted to know where Duse Mohamed Ali came from, because you said when he visited the United States, is he coming from Sudan or from England? It's kind of confusing.
All right, so good question. Which leads us to the next part now. So this is the picture that you'll find of Duse Mohamed Ali. Now that's the picture. No other pictures, that's just it. Right? So this is the back of the book. Duse Mohamed Ali was born in Alexandria, Egypt, to an Egyptian father and a Sudanese mother. He attended King's College of London. In 1885, at the age of 19, he started a career as a stage actor that lasted for 24 years. He was also in the company of Herbert Beerbohm, Herbert Beerbohm, B-E-E-R-B-O-H-M, Shri and Miss Landry's Antony and Cleopatra production at the Royal Princess Theatre in London. Mr. Ali also toured England, Ireland, and Scotland. He produced Othello and The Merchant of Venice at Hull, Yorkshire in 1902, playing the parts of Othello and the Prince of Morocco, and winning the plaudits of the British press. Among his credits as a playwright are The Jew's Revenge, produced at the Royal Surrey Theatre in London in 1903, A Cleopatra Night at Dundee in 1907, and The Lily of Bermuda, a musical comedy which he produced at Theatre Royal Manchester in 1909. Every production of his received the enthusiastic welcome of the British and American press, but perhaps the most outstanding of his productions and performances was A Daughter of Judah at the Empire Theatre in Glasgow in 1906. Reviewing the production, the London Daily Telegraph wrote, "Duse Mohamed is an actor of outstanding merit. He also produced many plays in America where he won fame as an actor. He founded the Hall Shakespeare Society, of which Sir Henry Irving was the first president, and the Anglo-Ottoman Society, London, which included Lords Newton, Lamington, Sturton, and Mowbray. He founded and was secretary of the Indian Muslim Soldiers, Widows, and Orphans War Fund in 1915. And among the patrons were Consuelo, the Duchess of Marlborough, the Right Honorable D. Lloyd George, Sir Edward Grey, Lord and Lady Lamington, Lord and Lady Newton, the Marquis and Marchioness of Crewe, Mrs. H. Asquith, Sir Austin and Lady Chamberlain, Lord Curzon, and almost all the members of the British cabinet. In 1909, he began a new career in journalism, publishing articles on Egyptian nationalism and the oppression of Africa in New Age, an influential socialist weekly literary journal. In 1911, he published a short history of Egypt in the land of the pharaohs, reputedly the first history of that country written by an Egyptian in English. The book received critical acclaim, catapulting him into international prominence. In 1912, in London, he founded the African Times and Orient Review, a political, cultural, and commercial journal that advocated Pan-African Asian nationalism and was a forum for African intellectuals and activists from all over the world. In 1921, Duse traveled to the United States, where he briefly worked for Garvey's Universal Negro Improvement Association, contributing articles on African issues to Negro World and heading a Department of African Affairs. So there's more, but that's where we're going to go in from. Right? It's not long. So Duse Mohamed Ali, affectionately called Bey Effendi. November 21st, 1886 to June 25th, 1945. Bey is a title or chieftain traditionally applied to the leaders of small tribal groups. According to some sources, the word Bey is of Turkish language. In historical accounts, many Turkish, other Turkic, and Persian leaders are titled Bey, Beg, Bek, Bey, Beg, or Bey. They are all the same word with the simple meaning of Lord. Effendi is a title of nobility meaning Lord or Master. And Duse Mohamed Ali came propagating the faith of Islam. Right? And Islam is I self Lord or Master. I self Lord or Master. Right? So noble, possessing outstanding qualities, illustrious, famous, notable, of high birth or exalted rank, possessing very high or excellent qualities or properties, grand or impressive, especially in appearance, possessing, characterized by, or arising from superiority of mind or character, or of ideals or morals. So just by him being called Bey, this is what applies to him. Because Bey is the noble title of the Moors. Right? And then you check where the London Daily Telegraph denationalized him and just called him Duse Mohamed without the Ali in the article. Right? And the average person wouldn't consider that because they don't consider the law. But law governs all events. So when we wonder how come we don't know about Moors, it's because of things like these. Little thing like this. Right? And something I didn't consider. We have to do the research on Duse Mohamed without the Ali and see what comes up. Because there could be reams of information on him. If that's the denationalizing process, you know. So Benjamin Banneker could just be Benjamin Banneker without the Bey on it, because through the story, they just call him Benjamin Banneker. And he built the White House, and he did all these type of things, and he designed Washington, D.C., and, you know, created the first almanac and all that, but, you know, that's just Benjamin Banneker, you know. But he's a Moor. Probably had Fez walking around just like Duse Mohamed Ali. You know, but if we don't control our own media, then whose story are we gonna get? So the African Times and Orient Review, Duse Mohamed Ali's newspaper that we talked about briefly. Duse Mohamed Ali is well known in the Americas due to his African Times and Orient Review publications. Duse Mohamed Ali's book on the history of Egypt is well known among the elite African American intellectuals. The paper advocated Pan-African and Pan-Asian nationalism and founded in London, like we talked about. The Forum of African Activists and Intellectuals covered issues in the United States, Caribbean, West Africa, South Africa, etc. Marcus Garvey worked at the paper. So Marcus Garvey worked with Duse Mohamed Ali. So Duse Mohamed Ali had a paper, and Marcus Garvey worked for him. And this goes right in line with what Noble Drew Ali said, that everybody's been told. So nobody can say they don't know about Moors. And this birthright that's just sitting there that certain people don't want to pick up. Like we were talking about outside. You know, it's just in North America, there's something weird going on in North America.
The water.
The only place in the world.
It's the water.
You know, right? The only place in the world where the water makes people just brain dead. And they can't think for themselves, and they can't do anything for themselves, and they need to be ordered to do everything. Especially people who are of so-called quote-unquote African descent, or coming out of slavery people, or black people, or Negro colored people, Caribbean people, Brazilian, Indian, whatever they want to call them. All these dark-skinned people that have different textures of hair and different features and whatever, but all of them have brown skin. There's different shades of brown, right? Are all relative. And Duse Mohamed Ali and Marcus Garvey are relative, just like humanity is relative. And you never heard, you go ask a Garvey, they're not going to talk about Duse Mohamed Ali. The name's not going to come up. This is Garveyite, I'm saying. Like red, black, green, black power. They're not going to talk about Duse Mohamed Ali. When he's the inspiration of Garvey doing whatever he did, that they're repping. Right? So Marcus Garvey worked on the paper between 1912 and 1913 and was heavily influenced by Duse Mohamed Ali. When Duse Mohamed Ali came to America, he worked for Garvey's United Negro Improvement Association. His profound knowledge of African history led to his election to membership into the Negro Society for Historical Research and later to the American Negro Academy. So remember that the prophet said everybody's been told. So the Garveyites got told already. So now they're saying that this Moor, Duse Mohamed Ali, was elected into membership into some Negro thing. He was elected membership. Why? Because he knows that he's not a Negro. Why is he going to join that? But if you want to bring me in, yeah, I'll help you out, no problem. It's not arrogance. It's, I'm not Negro, black, colored. Like Prophet Noble Drew Ali's been telling you guys that. Before he was Prophet Noble Drew Ali, when he was Professor Drew, the Egyptian adept, telling the people that they're not that. Then this man's coming all the way from Egypt to get elected membership into their Negro society. He's not going up and walking and joining it. They're saying, Duse Mohamed Ali, please join our stuff so we can have some credibility. Opposed to them just abandoning the whole Negro thing and moving on from there. Because Moore's right there. In America, came all the way from Egypt to tell you, but we don't recognize our own messiahs and whatever that we have right in front of our face. Like C. Freeman talks about people who just walk past Noble Drew Ali, didn't know who he was. Don't even know who this guy is. Wearing a fez, just walking down the street, and you don't stop asking that question like, yo, who are you? You know what I mean? Like how many people actually, you know what I mean, like see things out of the Matrix, like you might see, you know, like a Buddhist or something.